What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. We have Labrynth going up against Fiendsmith and Ryzeal. Fiendsmith and Ryzeal, obviously no explanation needed, one of the best decks of the format. Going up against Labrynth, a deck that's been around for quite a bit. You have these powerful cards like Impulse and then Big Welcome and Lovely, being able to destroy bounce cards back to the hand and having quite abilities. We're going to be seeing dive into game one with Labrynth going to be actually winning the die roll here. This is going to be huge for the Labrynth strategy, being able to set those trap cards that are very powerful on turn 0, and those floodgates as well, which you can see. We do see the normal summon of an Ariana. It's going to get met with a Veiler, and then we're just going to set 3 more cards on pass turn. We do pass on that, and then in the draw phase, we go for a big welcome, or we go for welcome to summon out the Lovely, then we do chain the big welcome here on the summon of the Lovely to actually summon out the Lovely, or the Lady, and then bouncing itself back to the hand, which we're then going to be seeing the Ariana as well as the Lovely pop a card, and they do pop the X from the hand. We're then going to be seeing the Lady summon herself out, and then we go for a Trap Tricks here, which then we can chain the Lady as well to set from the deck on this, and we do think if we want to have a response, we don't have a response to this, therefore the Lady will be able to chain, and then set the copy of the Daruma Cannon from the deck. We do see them go for D-Barrier here, and they're able to go D-Barrier activation immediately because they can activate it off the Trap Tricks, and then we just cannot summon any XYZs anymore. So now we're logged into our Link monsters. Now, fortunately for us, we are playing the Fiendsmith card, which allows us to go for the links into the Desiree, but if we were not, and we were just playing the pure version of the deck, we're going to be quite in shambles. And the important part of this as well is that they're going to have the Daruma Cannon, which can then be chained to once again with Lady as well. And having Lovely be able to reset that big welcome is going to be kind of crucial. So they do have that ability to kind of do that there, which is going to be kind of huge. We do have a normal summon of an Ice that we searched off of the bonfire here, and then we're going to summon out the X, search for the sword. And now, while we can't go up into a XYZ here, we actually have the ability to go up into a Link, and we're going to be looking in the graveyard there. We see no light monsters, so we end up going now for the Jerusalem, and then we actually go up into a light and dark Chaos Angel. And this is going to be a very good card in the format. It's going to be quite difficult for them to be able to banish, or to end up stopping this, I should say, because it is made with lights and darks. We do try to banish here, and we're going to be banishing most likely the Lovely at this point, so that we can not have a way. And the Daruma Cannon, we're going to go Lovely, sent to the graveyard, and we're going to be banishing the Daruma Cannon off of the Chaos Angel, because that is going to be a way to kind of deal with that that Chaos Angel. So we get rid of the Chaos Angel, and then we do get rid of the Lovely. We can still attack with it as well. We do see the Cross going to be activated, putting back 2 to draw us a card. And we still have the Sword in the hand as well for the follow-up turn, which is going to be kind of important. And we just have a giant Chaos Angel on the field. So do we have the ability to kind of continue going? We do. We have the track, which is going to be us in the Lurie, search for Lurie, and then we can summon out the Lurie. We can then link those up into the sequence. We should go into a Requiem first. We do go for the Requiem first here, which is going to then activate the effect going for the Lacrima. Lacrima can then dump the Engraver, and we have a little bit of a combo going on. So we have a pretty nice board being made here. But it looks like they have an Impulse in the hand, if I'm not mistaken, which they potentially could have drawn off of the Ariana, or they could have just kept it in the hand as well. So we do now go up into the sequence. Sequence can be met with an Impulse, which is kind of unfortunate. So we do activate that sequence there, and they let that resolve, which is kind of crazy to me, because we do have Impulse. It says if your controls activate a card from the hand, and that special summons a monster. So they just let that resolve here, which is extremely crazy to me. And then we do go into the Agumde. We are then going to go Desiree, send by shuffling back the Lacrima, and then we end up activating the Agumde, going up into the Desiree, equipping it to sequence as well. Makes so we have multiple stats negates, and then we can just go battle phase and attack over. We also then proceed to summon out the Sword, because Sword has the ability that if it's special summoned out, we get to search. This is the one that does not care if we don't have, I believe. Yeah, so we had a 1 light Pyro. We can send from the extra deck, which is going to give us the ability to kind of OTK here, if I'm not mistaken, because we have enough damage on field. Because this Desert is going to be huge. So we go Battle Phase. That's just going to be enough for game. with 35, 15, and then the huge Desiree. So we actually see Ryzeal end up taking it there, and we had a very good board set up off the Labrynth player. If that was an impulse in the hand, it definitely was a misplay for not activating it there. We could have seen the Desiree being negated altogether or just not being summoned off that sequence, and that would have just been game, other than if they could find a way to kind of deal with that copy of Chaos Angel. I don't know if they have a way to deal with the Light and Dark Chaos Angel, but I'd like to find out. So if you guys know if they have a way to out the Light and Dark Chaos Angel, let me know in the comments section down below, other than the Daruma Cannon. Now, obviously, if they set their traps, there's not much we can do, as well. I had to out the Daruma Cannon then and there. But it's going to be pretty nice. I suppose you could also bounce it with Big Welcome. That is a pretty common way to kind of out it there. But we are going to be seeing in Game 2, Labrynth be able to go first once again here. Going to be pretty formidable. Now, we did win the die roll. We did see us lose a die roll, but have still the ability to win Game 1, and that's going to be absolutely huge for us, because that means we're going to have the ability to go first in Game 3. So the die roll didn't necessarily matter in that matchup, because we did end up winning. But we are going to be seeing a set 3 here, and then we're going to activate the Story Tour. You open that lovely in the hand. That's not lovely. You do not want to see this. We're going to be setting a big welcome, which most likely means that we have a welcome set as well here. So having that 4 set, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, we don't play any back row hate. We have no lightning storms, we have no stuff like that. We're going to be seeing the welcome Labrynth, and we do chain a full roast to this, which is going to allow us to draw 1 card off of the Ariana being summoned out. And I will say, honestly, it's kind of a good card to keep in. I don't know if I would keep in full roast. Obviously, it's better going second against a deck because of the fact that you want to use it during your turn, but it's kind of weird at the same time where we didn't have any other cards that kind of side in there, so we're gonna get a draw. In this case, we're gonna get a draw too, but you don't tend to see too much of that here. We do now see Big Welcome, which could summon it from the graveyard, but they choose to summon it with a Lady instead from the deck, and then bouncing back to Lady. Then we activate the Lady, summon itself out, and then they go for a D-Barrier once again, calling XYZs, locking us, and they set a Deck Devastation Virus, which we then do a Kook-Lock, and they just chain the Deck Devastation Virus, getting rid of our entire hand. And we take a second to read this card. If you guys have not seen the POV, there is a POV live. I think it went up last week or the week prior to this, and you guys can see my live reaction to getting Deck Devastation Virus in Game 2, and we reveal our hand, and our hand is going to be gone. We get double Engraver left, and that's going to be pretty much it. And our hand was already dog shit. So, we had Lacrima, Lurie, and stuff like that. We had double Engraver, Lacrima, Lurie, Track, and nothing really else. We can go Engraver here, or Track in this case. Now, looking back, I should have definitely gone for Engraver first, Search. Therefore, I could go Engraver in Graveyard to put back the Lurie, then summon back the Lurie there. So, having 2 bodies on the field. We then go Engraver, shuffle back the Lacrima to summon itself out, but there was really no reason to do this, because we could have kept the Engraver in the deck still by going for Engraver first, searching for the Track or the Trap card. Now, that definitely is a misplay looking back at it. Not that there was really any chance of us winning anyways, but there's still better ways to play the game, which is kind of important, that you do want to focus on playing correctly, even though you're in a losing position. So you live a little, you learn. We see us now go for the Requiem, and there's really no point of making this at this point. We've already used the Engraver effect in Graveyard. We haven't normal summoned now, so we could have, if we would have had a way to summon out. Now we go for another weird line of just going for Engraver here. Whereas I was maybe we're gonna go for a Track. Looking back at the duel, I'm maybe I thought something, but I don't even know what I was thinking at this point. I was just freestyling this Engraver combo and making a princess, trying to go for a draw at this point. I was really focused on wasting my whole entire hand for a draw and a search for Track. We're down bad for this draw, and it's a ghost over, which goes to the graveyard anyways, because Deck Devastation Virus has the next draws for the next 3 turns. If it's a monster with a 1500 attack or less, it goes to the graveyard. So it's everything. All of Ryzeal monsters, honestly, it's all gone. So we just pass turn on that. We have Track in hand, and that's really about it. We're going to be seeing the Big Welcome bounce back the Ariana, which then welcomes in that itself. And then we're going to be able to normal summon with the Ariana. Let's search our deck for whatever else that we want. And I believe that we should have seen the Shanghai Dragolier added back to the hand as well. I'm not exactly sure we saw that there, so that is definitely a little bit of a misplay. We do see Story Tour being searched, And like we're looking in our graveyard, and there's nothing going on in here. We're just like watching this. We're watching Labrynth kind of just. We're stuck in a Labrynth, honestly. We see them activate the Stormy Torby, sending itself to the graveyard. And honestly, I better draw off this princess. If I don't draw off princess, I'm going to be pissed. We do see the princess activating the effect there, allowing us to... Do we not draw off princess? They discarded a card. Do you draw off this? Okay, we do draw. It is a Druid Worm here. Thank goodness. Okay. And then we're going to be seeing the effect of the whatever it's called, the Kuklok add itself back to the hand. And the Druid Worm is a decent card because it does protect us, but there's not much that we can do. You know, we have the Lovely we can get rid of in the graveyard, which is going to be very good to get rid of altogether. But they have the ability to just impulse this, which is just essentially gone. We now have no Druid Worm, so like they have everything they really want to here. We're going to be seeing Typhon being made, and then Typhon's going to be bouncing back that princess. And we have it again now. Like, we have access to it once again. Maybe going for a Caesar, perhaps. Caesar's pretty good against this deck, but will we get that far? Most likely not. So we see a Typhon being made, and it's really cool that Typhon's being made here because it is a Fiend, which is going to be able to be bounced back with the Big Welcome here, essentially being a free Big Welcome altogether. And also, it doesn't matter that we're Fiend locked off the Welcome Labrynth because, again, Typhon is a Fiend monster, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be seeing the Engraver put back, allowing us to summon itself out. And they go for the Big Welcome here, bouncing back the Engraver, summoning out the Lovely. And then we're going to be seeing the Engraver as well as the Chandragolier and the Stormy Torby adding itself and summoning itself respectively. And then we get to pop a card. And we're going to be popping the Engravers here, saying, yeah, get that card in the graveyard. We then go for a track, which can then let us search for that Lurie, discarding the Lurie, I believe. Or we choose to go for a Lacrima here. I think the only thing we're lacking is a Brain, because this is not the combo. We should not be doing this. We look at what we have in the graveyard, it's like, we got nothing. We actually have nothing. Like, we've gone through our whole Fiendsmith package, which we drew the whole Fiendsmith package anyways. You know, you draw track, 2 Engravers, a Lacrima, and the Lurie. We're not winning that game anyways. So, that kind of was unfortunate for us as well, but we're going to be seeing the Requiem being equipped, and then we're going to go up into a Princess once again. Maybe hoping that they use this Chandragolier or the Stormy Torby as getting us additional draws or steals. I don't exactly know what we were hoping for, but they end up going for a Welcome now, which is going to be someone from the deck. And they're going to go for an Ariana, which then can search for the Arias, and they're going to be able to use trap cards every single turn. We said, yeah, and actually enough of this, we're going to scoop it up, go on to game 3. So, we didn't make it there. We didn't get to go through that deck devastation, and honestly, that deck devastation virus was a hand devastation virus. It completely got rid of our hand altogether, and then we just started playing completely unoptimally. So, on his part and on our part there, not looking pretty. But game 3, we're going to go first, and hopefully we end up seeing a lot better of a hand. And no deck devi. Now, making a board is a lot easier, but honestly, it's not the craziest. Like, Ryzeal has a pretty bad matchup against Labrynth, only due to the fact that, like, Detonator has to respond directly to the traps, or the cards being activated to pop different cards. So, obviously, you flip up a trap card. If you don't care about it, you pop a different trap card, but they can flip it up, and that's essentially gone anyways. So, it's not the greatest in this matchup. Obviously, you know, if they leave with 5 trap cards, it's going to be pretty nice. And then they do have Stormy Torby in the start, which can then send the card called Mistress of the Gnomes. If you guys don't know this card does a lot of mischief for Ryzeal. So you have it set face down, and you flip it face up. All the monsters in their hand, which means anything they add later on the turn as well. As long as it summons from the hand, it is now no longer a level 4, it's level 3 in this case. It just loses 1 level. And you obviously also have the ability that once in the graveyard to banish it as well and have the same effect apply. So 2 turns if you set it, and then 1 turn in this case, because the Torby sends it to the graveyard, they banish it, and then of course we lose it. So we now just cannot go for any rank 4. So instead we have the normal summon ice, activating the effect, summon with the X, searching for sword, and then we overlay into a moon, luckily for us. They do drop a Phantasma here, letting them to draw 2 cards, and then we link up in the moon into a Requiem. So we now go Requiem effect, and they do chain the impulse to this, and we're like, oh my gosh. This guy's just broken. We do now have track, which can let us continue playing as well. So opening up pretty decent ourselves. If we did not have the Mistress of the Gnomes, it would have been an amazing hand, honestly. Allowing us to combo through pretty much every hand trap in this case. We see the Engraver being dumped off the track, interestingly enough. I'm not exactly sure why we did that. Especially as we have already used our normal summon. I suppose we have no other way to get Engraver on the field because we have used our normal summon. So I guess it kind of makes sense in this case because we can kind of play that way by just equipping the Engraver and then Engraver perhaps sending the Phantasma to the graveyard. But we're going to be seeing the Engraver summon itself by shuffling back, and then we do equip that Requiem there. We're going to see Requiem effect going to be sending the Engraver sending the Requiem to the graveyard to stop, and they do chain the Phantasma to this, which does destroy the Engraver altogether by just getting the Arias. And what's really interesting about this is that now whenever we activate a card effect in response to their Labrynth cards, they're able to summon back out this Arias for free here. So go for Battle Phase attack with the Phantasma as well as the Chandragolier, just for an extra 15 damage. They're going to go for a big welcome in the Battle Phase, summoning with the lovely bouncing back the Phantasma, dealing an extra load of damage here. And then we're going to be able to see the Stormy summoning itself out as well. And then lovely pop our face down, which is going to be the trap card, so not opening the greatest as well here. But we do take a whole bunch of damage, and we're honestly looking pretty low. We're going to be seeing in the main phase 2, Lovely is going to be resetting an impulse, and we're going to be very out of luck. We do chain a Veiler to it, which then Arias can let it summon itself out, and then we activate the effect of the Features in Paradise, send to the graveyard one Features monster, and really we should be sending the Lacrima from the deck so we can actually continue playing. But instead, I believe we choose to send the Desiree. So it looks like we're thinking on this, what we're going to be sending. I mean, we definitely should be sending the Lacrima so we can actually use the effect of Lacrima, putting the Requiem on the field, activating the Requiem effect, and then kind of going. But I don't exactly see what we're... Okay, we do send the Lacrima there. We were thinking on it there. In the POVs, I most likely mentioned it. They're going to go for the effect here now, putting back someone out, activating the effect. And they do have the Phantasma once again. We chain it, and they just draw one in this case, and then don't put back, which is whatever. It's essentially just a free draw. Then we go for Lacrima. Lacrima can then dump the Engraver, and now we have 2 Engravers in graveyard. Yahoo! Honestly, it's not looking too good for us. And they have a full board here, and they have a Traptrix in the hand as well. So like it's looking pretty rough. We see the Arias activate the effect, which can then let us the Traptrix activate the effect immediately, which can then let them banish the deck devastation virus. And once again, we're getting deck devied. So that's going to be extremely fun. We get hit with the virus, and then we just show them our hand of garbage. We have to keep a Sword Ryzeal. We have to keep nothing. Okay. So now we're back on just one top deck, and can we make it worth it here? We're going to link them away into an SP, and now I have to deal with SP and Lovely, as well as Big Welcome in the graveyard, and all the cards in the graveyard as well, being able to come back. And we just see a Veiler being drawn, so we just throw that to the graveyard. We have Engraver engraved, but other than that, there's not much hope here. We look Engrave and we kind of like see what we have. Now we have Engraver, but there's nothing really worth. But you just put back the other Engraver, summon itself out, and we can attack over SP. But other than that, it's not going to be really good. Go for a Typhon, perhaps. We're going to see Big Welcome bounce back, and then we just see them summon out. We just a scoop here. We realize the game's going to be over, and we see Labrynth end up taking it here in Game 3 with these deck devastation viruses in 2 games. They lose Game 1, and then we just get smashed around in Game 2 and 3 with this powerful QCR virus card, just wiping our hands out altogether. Regardless here, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. I want to feature Labrynth. I love when Labrynth ends up winning. It's kind of like the underdog of the format all the time, and it's a really fun deck to play as well. So if you guys want to play a control deck, I definitely recommend you guys playing Labrynth. It's really cool to play, and it's really rewarding when you play correctly in this case, when you like punish the player a lot by with these floodgate type cards, which is always kind of fun. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.